Hare Krishna, everyone. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, you can start. I think you're on unmuted.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Bol Jai Jagannath. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaivo Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Shinvatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Savana Kirtana Hridayantastha Vadani Vidunoti Surisatam Nashtaprayesu Avadeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhagavat Bhaktiri Bhaviti Naistiki Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangulanghayate Girim Yatkipatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isaram Sri Guru Dina Tarinam. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thanks for joining. This chapter is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, and Text 12. This chapter is called Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena of the Maharaj Prithu. Vinasya lingasya guna prabhavo द्रव्यस्य क्रियाकराका चेतनात्मनः दृष्टौ सम्पस्तु विपस्तु सुरयो न विक्रियन्ते मयि बधा सहृदः विनश्य लिङ्गस्य गुणप्रभावो द्रव्यक्रियाकारक चेतात्मनः दृष्टौ सम्पत्सु विपत्सु सुरायो न विक्रियन्ते मयि वधा सौहृदः विनश्य लिङ्गस्य गुणप्रभावो द्रव्यस्य क्रियाकारकचितात्मनः दृष्टौ सम्पत्सु विपत्सु सुरायो न विक्रियन्ते मयि वधा सौहृदः. Lord Vishnu told King Prithu, "My dear king, the constant change of this metal world is due to the interaction of the three modes of metal nature. The five elements, the senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, who is agitated by the spirit soul. All these taken together comprise the body. Since the spirit soul is completely different from this combination of gross and subtle metal elements, my devotees, who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. Purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki joy. The question may be raised that if the living entity has to act as the superintendent of the activities of the bodily combination, then how can be indifferent to the activities of the body? The answer is given here. These activities are completely different from the activities of the spirit soul of the living entity. A crude example can be given in this connection is businessman riding in a motor car, sits in the car, supervises its running and advises the driver. He knows how much gasoline is used up and he knows everything about a car, but still he is apart from the car and is more concerned with his business. Even while riding in the car, he thinks of his businesses and his office. He has no connection with the car, although he is sitting here. He's sitting there. As the businessman is always absorbed in thoughts of his businesses, so the living entity can be absorbed in thoughts of rendering loving service to the Lord. Then it will be possible to remain separate from the activities of the material body. This position of neutrality can be possible only for a devotee. The word Badha Sahridaha means bound in friendship is particularly used here. Karmis, Gyanis, and Yogis cannot be bound in devotional service. Karmis fully engage in the activities of the body. Their aim of life is to give comfort to the body only. Gyanis try to get out of entanglement by philosophical speculations, but they have no standing in the liberated position because they do not take shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord. They fall down from the exalted position of Brahman realization. Yogis also have a body concept of life. They think that they can achieve something spiritual by exercising the body through dharana, asana, and pranayam, etc. A devotee's position is always transcendental because of his intimate relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, to remain always aloof from the actions and reactions of the body and engage in one's real occupation, namely rendering service to the Lord, can be possible only for a devotee. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी कृष्ण नमस्ते सरस्वती गौरवाणी प्रचारि निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पश्चात जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna everyone, thanks for joining and giving me the opportunity to speak on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this particular chapter, particular verse, we are reading chapter 4.20.12. So here Lord Vishnu told King Prithu, my dear king, the constant change of this material world is due to the interaction of the three modes of material nature. Like the Lord is talking about the interactions happens, the five elements, the senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, which is agitated by the spirit soul. All this taken together comprise the body, and then the Lord is talking about like how the devotees who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely knowledge, is never agitated by the material happiness and distress. So Lord Vishnu extremely pleased by Prithumaras in devotion, and that's why he appeared in his yajna to give benediction upon his devotees. So, in his in this text, Lord Vishnu is explaining the essence, what is mean to be transcendent. Unless we understand the nature of the world, we cannot understand how to be transcendental. So, the Lord is explaining how material existence is operating. It is the place of constant change. So, in this material world, nothing is stable. The constant change is particularly because of endless suffering for the spirit soul. Because the soul is eternal and the soul is longing to find the eternal refuge or eternal shelter or eternal joy, but everything around is changing. So this material world is known as Dukhalayam Asaswatam. This is miserable place because everything is temporary. So longing for happiness, we found some in some circumstances. Like some circumstances, we find little bit happiness, and we find happiness either in the some circumstances or in some person or in some fame or in some place, but then it changes inadvertently. So it must be changed. So even the body, which is the base, we try to enjoy through the so in this body, we try to enjoy through it's constantly changing. We are seeing through very gross perception. We are thinking we are young, but for some time, then we do not notice how it's changing until nature changes takes place. Actually, in every moment, innumerable changes taking place inside the body. The atomic particles, the cells, everything always changing by the influence of time. Time is influencing the changes everywhere and everything. Thus, we cannot hold anything in this world. Then, how the changes takes place? The Lord describes in this chapter is due to the three modes of matter nature, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. These modes are in constantly in motion, constantly activated, since everything in this universe are in influence of the modes of nature, therefore everything will change. The gross elements also change to how to speak of the mind. So historians goes to different historical sites, they see things in terms of centuries, millenniums, that changes takes place in this planet. So there is one example in Western world. There was a Roman Empire. People used to go to one place called Pompeii, the city of rest. That's called Pompeii. It was very opulent city once upon a time. It is very opulent, very elegant, beautiful, and people all over the world visit to the city called Pompeii in the Roman Empire. Now, so what we see in that city is devastated. Looks like ghost houses. Nobody even exists there because of volcanoes. So historical after digging the city for thousands of years, so that they recover the city, but it's nothing is there. So even no one goes there right now because volcanoes can come at any point of time. So everything is changed by the three modes of matter nature. And how this change? This matter nature is activated by the time. And who controls time? The Lord controls the time. So everything is controlled, even the matter nature, the times, everything is controlled by the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So therefore, no shelter. If you the jiva wants to shelter in this world, so actually reality there is no shelter in this world other than the Lord Himself. If someone looks for shelter, here is the greatest. Like if someone says, I took the shelter of my father, I took shelter of my friend, I took shelter of my, my boss, my colleague, everything, if you dependence, if you taking shelter of a particular person in this world, which says you are in ignorance because here the constant change of this material world is due to the most of the different elements, and the only shelter in this material world is the Lord Himself. So, so mind is subtle elements, and so difficult to hold still. The mind is considered the six senses. If you control your mind, it is your best friend. If not control the mind, it is your worst enemy. So the mind can make hell into heaven and heaven into hell. The mind is always searching for pleasures, but always finding miseries to be dissatisfied. Everything we want for all of our life, if you get it, still our mind will not be satiated and it will be still searching something, and eventually our mind will be dissatisfied. So all of material elements are agitated by the spirit soul. So what does it mean by agitated by spirit soul? In this verse, it's mentioned the the material elements are agitated by the spirit soul, or because all material elements, including the mind, the senses, are nothing but dead matters. There is no life in there. All even the mind, the senses, and all the 24 elements we call, they are called the simple the their matters, and who because of the presence of the spirit soul, that their matter becomes agitated. So like if I give an example, before the creation there was pradhan, right? Before the creation, there is a pradhan. So, and so then when the Lord glances on the pradhan, so it become agitated. That place is called Mahatattva. And then the cosmic manifestation created, right? You know everything, the story. So how the Lord glances on the Mahatattva, and then it becomes the it becomes comes into the being. So earlier time it becomes like dead matters. When the Lord glances, then after it becomes agitated, and then the cosmic manifestation created. Similarly, our senses, the minds, everything is dead matter. There is no life in there. When there is the presence of soul, so then all of our senses, the mind is become agitated, right? So that's what the Lord is talking about in this particular verse. So so as we discussed, right? All matter elements, including the mind and senses, are dead matters, and because of present soul, it's become agitated. So when the soul is there, so all the senses, they cries for the food, want to see the different side. So the senses want soft touch, and so many things the senses want. So senses are agitated by the presence of soul. The mind is dead matter. When there is a presence of soul, so much agitation, so many desires, and so much hankering for the minds. So all these taken together comprise the body, and that is the material existence the Lord is talking about. Now the Lord is explaining what is material existence, since the spirit soul is completely different from the combination of gross and subtle material elements. My devotee, who is connected with me in intense friendship and affection, being completely knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress. If you try to summarize the material existence, we can say sukha and dukkha, happiness and distress. Certain circumstances create happiness and some are create distress. Every living being and spirit soul trying to find the happiness and avoid distress. That is the material life or the material existence. That's the nature of the all living entities. All materialistic society and different species of life are simply based on this particular principle, sukha and dukkha, in this material world. So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Dukhesu anudigna manaha, sukhesu vigatastruha, vitaraga bhayakrodha, sitadhirmunuchyate. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger is called a state of steady mind. So, which means the Lord, also explaining here the devotees, even though agitated by by the three most of material nature, the devotees are steady in mind and are constant in devotion. So the there are the grossest type of selfishness is, so whenever you say like my tongue, my eyes, my ears, my mind, etc., that is the sense gratification of the mind. Whenever you use the I, mine, and my, these kind of words, so in any of the sentences, if you are using it, so which means we are just doing the sense gratification of the mind. So extend to this. So when we say that when my family is happy, I am also happy because my family is just extension of my body, right? So then, and greater extension to this. So he said, if you say that, okay, this is my caste, my village, my community, etc. So extend that to the, like, some people says, if you talk about some atheistic people, they say that, okay, they talks about humanism and the humanitarianism. So like my race, my country, and etc. etc. So if you go deeper and deeper, your object of love is expanded. So that's why Prabhupada mentioned that the ultimate love is to love Krishna. If we love Krishna, then ultimately we love every living being exists in this universe. Then our love is for all because they're all in within the Krishna, Lord Krishna. So this is the most perfect love. Here Lord Vishnu is explaining how devotees in this material world is not agitated by the material happiness and distress. Srila Prabhupada in this chapter very nicely explained by giving an example how a devotee is aloof from material happiness and distress and how he is constantly focusing on Krishna consciousness. Example Prabhupada gives a businessman riding in a motor car sits in the car, supervises its running and advises the driver. He knows how much gasoline is used up and he knows everything about the car, but still he is apart from the car and he is more concerned with his businesses. Right? Similarly, the devotee is always concerned about how to render the devotional loving service to the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. That is the that is the only business of the devotees. So that's why he is aloof from the metal three modes of material nature, right? And so then, so 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 then, Lord says that if then it will be possible to remain separate from the activities of the material body. This position of neutrality can be possible only for a devotee, right? And so whenever we talk about the you know the 24 elements, Lord talks about the gross elements and everything. So the 24 elements is basically called the start with the pradhana, right? And then the three subtle elements called false ego, intelligence, and mind, right? So these are total four: pradhana, false ego, intelligence, mind. So then we know the five gross element, five sense objects, five knowledge acquiring senses, and five working senses. So these all comprises the metal elements, right? And if you dwell in the metal elements, so then we cannot be successful. So the Lord is saying we should not be agitated. We should not be as the spirit soul by using that knowledge. We should not be agitated by the 24 elements. So then it says the body also undergoes nine stages of manifestation, which are brought about by association with the qualities of material nature. So these are called impregnation and then gestation, birth, childhood, youth, maturity, middle age, old age, and death. So these are the transformation of the body. So, so then in the summary, uh, if I summarize this sloka, it says three things. The material world changes, right? The boss says that the constant change and then the fluctuation of the material world are caused by the interaction of the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So then Lord talked about the body and the soul. The verse further explains that the body is composed of the five elements: senses, demigods who control the senses, the mind, and the spirit soul, all of which are distinct from the spirit soul. So then devotees states, it says that the Lord emphasizes that the devotee who are connected to him in intense friendship and affection and who are fully knowledge are not agitated by the material happiness or distress. So with this note, I'll stop here. Please forgive me if I made any mistakes while summarizing this particular verse. Thank you. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.